what we're gonna do with it, but let me just record what you're saying, David. So say that again. So you just heard your own story in
Yeah,
the
I was
Audible
just
version of the
hearing
Big
my own
Book.
story from another reader. Um, I mean, looking back on it, I'd written that a while back, uh, and I mean, it's a good synopsis of what happened, and the reasons, everything leading up, my time during my working days, and that my my developing concerns about staying there and being constricted and no growth. Um, you know, it's showed the I can see the progression in my own development, um, from from my working days. I think I always had that entrepreneurial bug in me somewhere. That was very deep, even before that job. I mean, I used to hawk pillows and nuts at a flea market for my uncle in my earlier days. So that's where I caught my entrepreneurial bug. The concept of buying something wholesale at a lower price and then going out and selling it at a higher price and then making money from the difference, however little money we made there. I did enjoy that, and I, in some ways, admired my uncle for that, and I kind of wanted to take after him in a way. And that time always stayed with me. Um, I if I always wanted to, I always my back of my mind, I always wanted to grow up to be a business person. Essentially, that's what uh, I think that just was always in the back of my mind. Even when I was working a full-time job, there was always that lingering distaste for working a job.
Yep.
Um, However little I felt that at the time. Um, I think my side job arrangement was a manifestation of my that lingering desire to work for myself. Um, Looking back on it, I've my and you can't really change the past, but I probably should have just went full into it way back then. But it's Monday morning quarterback, and maybe I wasn't ready then. Um, I was ready when I was ready. I was ready in early 2008 when I finally decided to break free of it.
Good for you. Jeannie, what do you think?
So I already knew a lot about David, so there was I already had background there, right? Because I've been on the bus with him for a while. But I want to tell you what's really interesting was that he built himself to being an entrepreneur. Like he said, he was not like he wasn't ready. He didn't even know if he wanted to do it. He just knew that the flea market sounded like it was a great idea for him and it gave him a certain feeling. But I like the way he took his time and he made it into lessons. Everything he went through, he made into a lesson to move him forward to being an entrepreneur. And that's what I got out of that story.
So I loved everything you said, and what became crystal clear to me is, first of all, you have embraced the entrepreneurial dream, which is that we work twice as hard to make half the amount sometimes in the beginning to be our own boss, to not have to go through, I forget the word you used, the drudgery of working for someone else, I think is what you had said. And so respect, right? And I took some notes. So, and some of the notes are, you started off with a vision that you're now getting back to. You got distracted along the way, that somebody was giving you advice that took you off course of your vision. And now you're getting back to what you had talked about, implementing technology to help business owners. You know, somewhere you became part of this um, MSP number commodity business, and now we're getting back to where you originally had, sights of going. And so it's disappointing that somebody took you off course, but I'm glad you're back on course. And what you're talking about, the group. So in the book, in these meetings that we're having, we started with the stories, and a little bit of that was a wimp out on my part. I didn't feel everybody was ready for the steps yet, but you're talking about our second step because you like the meetings, you like the fellowship, you like the accountability. That's all in our second step that you're going to learn about in the months to come, and that's what you're embracing. And I love how you use the bus. I love that it's your accountability, and you know that if you present something, you may not get the feedback that you want necessarily. And so maybe you won't present it, but until later. But I like that you're now telling vendors that you have to run it by your bus. That if it's a big decision, a big ticket item, that you're going to run it by the group. So you have a support system. You have a group in your life that has your back and understands you. And sometimes we're willing to take a shot, see what happens. Or sometimes it's like, are you crazy? $10,000 a month right now in your business? No way. But at least you have a place to run that by. So I thought the story with somebody else's voice doing it, it gave some gusto to it. It gave some drive. And I don't know. I'm proud of you, and I'm proud of where you've come to and where you're going to go. And the next step for you is completing your book, and that's going to fall in line with all of this. But I
Yeah,
don't know. I thought it was great.
yeah, yeah. And I feel now, I've reached some level of maturity, looking back on it as lessons learned, not as disappointments.
Yeah.
Just keeping the memories and the lessons from them, and just applying it.
And something we have to be careful of, and I'm speaking of myself, not you per se, but sometimes it becomes our nature to make similar mistakes again and again. But we have to recognize that, you know what, I've already done it this way and it didn't work. Let's try it another way. So,
I'm
sometimes
seeing that. I'm seeing that too. As I get into new situations, I can now see the similarities to older situations, and behave differently. And
Yep.
maybe I take a different direction here, or I make an inquiry here, based on what my experience was from the past. I may necessarily may not necessarily avoid whatever the item in question is, but question it and see if it makes sense or not. But with eyes wide open on how to make it go to my advantage.
All right. Jeannie, any other thoughts?
I just love his growth.
Uh-huh.
I love that every step he made was for the better, and that he takes what people say to him and implements it. He doesn't just listen, walk away and go, yeah, I'm not doing that. He says, all right, you know what? They made sense. He digresses it, he uses it, and then he implements it to a point where it makes him go into a direction that's going to make him bigger and better.
And David's been in meetings where he's been pushed hard, and on the bus is not always a pleasant experience. Many of our members have broken down in our meetings, and we've pushed them hard and said, hey, this sucks, you can't do it this way. I'm not suggesting that's David. I'm just saying that we've all been pushed hard and to get to where we are. And tough love is still love, and that kind of stuff. And yeah, good for you, David.
Yeah, I find
I
that
don't think that. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I find that I seem to work best when people give their unvarnished opinion. They're very strong in those opinions, not trying to sugarcoat it or make me feel good. I want honest, unfiltered feedback. That seems to work best with that.
And especially from people that you're not paying. Like Jeannie she doesn't matter to her if you take the advice or not. She's not on your payroll, right? You're not paying her anything. So her only motive is to be helpful.
Right.
So Jeannie, you had something to add?
Yeah, I just feel that if the bus was not tough love, And it's not like that all the time, but when it is, it's important to recognize that there's a reason it's that way. But when it doesn't do its job by being tough love at certain points, then it's not doing what it needs to do for you. You know,
Right.
if you're going there and it's just telling you what you want to hear, then really they're just, you know, they're just kind of sitting there and just saying, we don't really care what happens to you. But when they are saying what they're feeling from experience, a lot of people are saying it from experience because they've been there, they've done that, or they've done something similar and it hasn't worked or it has worked. Then they're saying it out of the place of their heart to tell you, you know what? We understand what you're feeling. We totally get what you're thinking, but this is what's happened in the past. Let's work something out where it doesn't happen to you. Or
I think the other
kudos,
part,
you're doing it. Sorry, great that you're doing it, and we totally feel that this worked for us and it's going to work for you as well. So it's good to have that soundboard, and that's what the bus is really just unbelievable in its job.
and this isn't a bus promotion or anything, this is David's story, but the beauty, in my opinion, of the one-to-one is you guys don't come to our meetings to report. You're not saying, well, this is what happened this month and this and that, but you're there to say, here's my challenge. This is what's going on now. This is what I want feedback on. And David's always very good at that. You know, he'll say, you know, I'm considering this marketing campaign, or I met with this person and here's the option, or what do you think of this logo versus that logo, or this website? And I think that's how you use your bus. But anything else? Any afterthoughts?
Yeah,
Right.
I should answer that. I mean, in general, I feel I get better results when I'm coached. Even like for my exercise, I'm a physical trainer. I sit with my trainer once a week. I learn from that, and I start doing exercises on my own, and I get better. It's no different with a coach or even other colleagues that I get, have conversations with and learn from them. Or even other coaches. I mean, a lot of things, people have multiple coaches. They each one does a different thing for them to improve them.
Yeah, you know, it's funny, before the meeting started, David, we were all three talking about disc analysis with people we knew and this and that. You've become a natural at that. That's an example of it, right? So you
Mhm.
learned it here, but you implement it in your life on a daily basis. It's just become part of your DNA that when you're meeting with somebody, you're doing a disc analysis on them.
Yeah, even with friends.
Yeah, I've done it with my kids.
My best friend, I know he has a lot of I and D in him. Loves to talk, but very strong.
Yep. All right. Jeannie, anything else?
No, I'm just very proud of him. I'm very proud of David's growth, but I love the voice that you picked for him, by the way. I don't know if you actually picked it for a reason, but it actually gave oomph and life to his story. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, the speaker does a good job, the reader. Some better than others, some of the stories, but this was a good one for sure.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I think it was read very well. And I actually kind of liked it that person actually read it and did it that way.
And a little secret, David had us make a change, so it was a retake. So after the first time through, you know, we're ready to publish the book, and David's got us pumping the brakes, saying, no, 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 we got to change this. This part of the story wasn't quite right, and it needs to be a rewrite and a re-recording. And so I'm thrilled you're happy with it, because you're the only one we would do that for, and we did, yeah.
Yeah, it's actually pretty excellent.
Good.
Yeah,
I'm
very
glad
good.
you're proud of it. I'm proud of it too. All righty,
Sharing it with
guys.
us.
Thank you.